Full disclosure, news and commentary number 94, 94, 94, 94, 90.
Four. It's only 6 away from 100. Yay.
4. Yes, if you hear some minor noises in the background, my child is listening to and watching Penguins of Madagascar. Because we only watch the good shit here. Anyway, lots to talk about. She's not wrong. We're 6 away from full disclosure 100, which is absolutely bonkers, crazy, cuckoo. Um, Patreon people, let's knock that out. Justin and Joe and Brian and D, Dan, Derek and Diana. Brett, Larry, not that one, but the other one. Rob, Rod, and our two biggies, Eric, the World Walker, and Myron, the OG. And added this week, Charles and Ace Haven. Welcome. Congratulations. And I love it. And my shirt rules. What are you going to say? My videos just came out. My report on my written report on No Peace Underground, and a piece that I wrote. It's on Facebook at least, of just thoughts I had about Larry Goodman in light of award season and all of that kind of stuff. Tomorrow night is the announcement of the awards. It is the big tipping point of the year. And it's bonkers and it's cuckoo and it's crazy. As for my videos that I've put out lately, some of them are getting a lot of attention and a lot of response and inspiring people to, what is that weird shine? Oh, it just is what it is. There, I took care of it. And in fact, I just got to share this. So here's a video that somebody sent to me about their response and their complaint about the video that I did about that KLT promo.
I just want to say to Stephen Platinum, give you my opinion about the whole Stephen Platinum promo about KLT and all that kind of stuff. Just want to let you know what you said about KLT Promotions and the Peachtree Mafia was the funniest shit I've heard in the last 2 weeks. And the least you could have done, you insensitive son of a bitch, is to put up a disclaimer that shit would nearly make me piss my pants from laughing. You rotten green jacket wearing bastard, you. Next time, give me fair warning, okay? God damn.
That was Anthony Velvet Jones Hall. Very funny. And now people are sending me videos fast and furious, sir, for me to look at. So I'm going to have to crank out a bunch in the next couple of days. And I plan on doing it. And some people want me to look at their promos, and some people want me to look at their matches. And I'm down to do all of that stuff. But again, I'm much more inclined for the people who give me money on Patreon or send me money directly to do it as quickly as possible, because I do have a lot to do. And of course, you know, I'm covering Raw, Dark, NXT, Impact. I looked at that Impact pay-per-view. Let me just start jumping into stuff, man. We all know about all the videos that I do and all the stuff that I'm writing and all the great stuff going up on gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com. Check all that stuff out. A lot more people have been checking it out lately, which is wonderful. That Impact pay-per-view. The matches were fine. Kenny Omega pinning Rich Swann actually made sense to me. And but that thing they did with Ethan and Karate Man was so bad. And the fact that anybody would say that that was good, I don't know how you could justify it. And then I saw where Ethan was furious because Impact apparently edited it in such a way that he did not want, and he hated the whole thing. And he's the guy who's in it. So that thing was trash. Like, how bad? In its own small form, it was as bad or worse than even the Viking Raiders against the Street Profits vignettes when they were competing in all those dumb things. That thing was fucking garbage. And that thing on Impact was garbage. And Impact cannot suffer things like that lightly. I mean, it was embarrassing. Like, I'm all about trying stuff, but at least execute it well or attempt to. There's no way anybody thought that was good. And the fact that Simon from What Culture dared to give that thing a thumbs up, I mean, it just shows how Simon is like the nicest dude that talks about wrestling, because that thing was shit. And when the people who did it say it's shit, I mean, it's disgracefully bad. Heritage Championship Wrestling, 30 attended their show, a report by Larry Goodman. And a picture of Larry Goodman watching the main event is what inspired the thing I wrote about him. There is some new wrestling group with all women called Below. Is it a Florida thing? It looks like shit. And it's promoted like shit, and I hope it dies. But if they ever do a show with an audience, I'll be there. I'll be there. GIPW is getting the let out. They're out of the Thirsty Turtle, at least for this show. Did a show in Warner Robins, the old stomping grounds of Rampage Pro Wrestling. Drew 110, got their show report, sent it to me directly, which was much appreciated, and they did their thing. And PWX was back doing their thing. More and more signs of life. Here in Florida, in addition to the No Peace Underground show, they're first with a ring that I covered with a very thorough and extensive report. Not sarcastic. Gangrel Training Academy, I saw, did a show that I saw some pictures from. Looked really good. Pro South did their thing, and there's a report there up as well. KLT did a show. The report just came in. They had 300 people plus. And let me just speak on the promo thing. I mean, I know I put the thing about Velvet saying how funny it was, and most people have told me how funny it was. I did see that people from KLT had sort of gone on this campaign of finding everywhere it was posted and explaining themselves, or trying to put out this bullshit narrative of like, Steve should be ashamed of himself. It's named after a woman who's not even alive. Yeah, I noted that in the fucking video, first of all. Second of all, KLT, if you want to play the reindeer games, you get made fun of just like everybody else. You're not beyond reproach. And anybody who looked at that War Daddy promo and didn't think that there was anything that you could make fun of that thing for, fuck you and get out of pro wrestling. Seriously. If people think they're going to... if your league is named after... If you have the same initials as a woman who died, you're beyond reproach and you cannot be critiqued or made fun of? Awesome. Well, my middle name is Lawrence, which was my grandfather's name, and he's no longer with us. And my first name is Stephen, which is the name that my dead father wanted to have himself, so he gave it to me, and he's dead also. So I guess that means nobody can ever critique or make fun of me, right? Fuck yourself. Again, if I was making fun of the name KLT with the knowledge of what it was for, then yeah, that's one thing, but sorry. If you do shitbird stuff, I'm going to make fun of shitbird things. I don't know if you've missed the memo, even though you've been around for 35 years. But I've been this way for damn near 49. Oh my God, I'm going to be 49 years old February 9th. Craziness. Yes, you can send presents. P.O. boxes below. Renegade had a show, but we didn't get a report about that. This nonsense about the Puerto Rican promotion Pro Wrestling Caribbean, weren't they the assholes that used that old Southern Fried footage and passed it off without permission? Like when Southern Fried was fucking terrible, that footage? I think they are. But anyway, they're claiming that they're going to do a show at the Landmark. People checked into it, and apparently that's not a thing at all. That it's just Pro Wrestling Caribbean pulling shit out of their ass. So fuck you, Pro Wrestling Caribbean, for making up such weird lies. And the fact that they're listed Pro Wrestling Caribbean, Georgia. Fucking ridiculous. If Nelms has his hands in this bullshit, God, prepare for another year of making fun of that motherfucker. But if he didn't, then good. Because nobody should have anything to do with that kind of chicanery and bullshit and lies. There's no room for that kind of thing in pro wrestling. Whew, I held a straight face. Actor of the Year award goes to Stephen Platinum. APW drew 42, which is a big drop for them. There's probably a bunch of reasons for that, but I appreciate their honesty in reporting that. And it seemed like the kind of typical show that APW would do. So we'll see if they bounce back next week. And Coastal Empire had a show. Didn't get a report about that. Motherfuckers, get your reports in. Okay. We're here at the commentary portion. What's it about? We're now mid-January, and there's all kinds of signs of life happening in wrestling, right? And I've taken to this thing of writing down notes of things that I wanted to make sure I talked about throughout the week. And I think it's a habit that wrestling itself should get in. Wrestlers, promoters, bookers, promotions. When things strike you, it should be remembered. Note them and do something about them. So, like, I see here in my notes, there's some things that I did comment on, like below wrestling. What a terrible idea that is. But GIPW and what a good job they did getting their reports in and that kind of thing, to highlight the ones that did not. And then there's other notes here. So like Heritage Championship, there's a bunch of absences from guys who didn't show up for that show for various reasons. Wrestlers, get your shit together. Can we stop that? And a number of guys who have talent for days but have bad reputations, it looks to me that those bad reputations are earned, and you should make it a point to change that or just get out of wrestling. See, the choices are very easy. If you make a booking, show up for it. And if you can't do that on the regular, then you shouldn't be booked. I don't care if you're their champion or not. The T-Bar and Sammy Guevara Twitter fight. As amusing as I find these kind of things, this is one where my goal with this commentary is to just set a couple of wrestling things to bed. T-Bar and Sammy Guevara arguing about who originated finishers is so stupid. Whatever move, I used to tell my students this all the time, whichever move that you use as your finisher, chances are there's somebody who's done it in the United States well before you. And then that guy got it from a Japanese guy who probably stole it from a Japanese woman wrestler who did it, or some variation of it, 20 years ago at least. So fuck you. This idea of owning a finishing move is so ludicrous. If under that mentality, Randy Orton should not do the RKO, should he? What finishing move could you fucking possibly do at this point? And the T-Bar and Sammy thing, I mean, I get that Retribution, they have to win Twitter wars because God knows they don't win anywhere else. So T-Bar saying like, no, I was, so-and-so was with me when I came up with this move. Fucking Jesus. Some variation of pick a dude up, drop him, and knee him on the way down. Who cares who invented it? It's not that fucking great of a thing to begin with. And then, Sammy snapping back on him with this, I did it so people could see it on television, ho, ho, ho. I guess that's funny, except for the fact that T-Bar had just been on television and actually won with the move, which makes his diss stupid. And then T-Bar responds with the make a rape joke at Sammy, which felt one toke over the line. Sweet Jesus, one toke over the line. But at the same time, that's what you're going to get in these kind of feuds, because ultimately these guys are pussies. Or as when Larry Goodman and I were talking about it, Larry Goodman said, I miss the days where Harley Race would say, I'm going to go shoot Hulk Hogan. So that's where we're at. The Twitter wars betwixt wrestlers, especially on the issue of who stole whose move. Please stop. Please stop. This thing of wrestlers letting down bookings, when there are wrestlers who would kill to have bookings, just stop. Just tighten your shit up in general. But on the flip side, I'm glad to see. Now, COVID stopped a lot of this, but hopefully it doesn't start again. It's been months. It's been, if I had one of these signs, it's been this many days since our last accident. It's been months and months and months and months and months since I had to read about some booker or promoter whining of like, oh, these guys keep bothering me for bookings, but we're booked out 3 or 4 months in advance, and that arrogance has thankfully left us, and hopefully will continue to leave us and remain lost. And if that kind of thing is kind of happening, you don't need to say it publicly. You don't get clout that way. You just don't. Let me save you the trouble of worrying about whether you do or not. I do like this sort of upward trend of gratitude and expressing admiration for others. I think that's really wonderful. I would like that to be a trend that continues. And, around the awards, there's definitely been some sour grapes about stuff, especially as people are getting informed on who won and whatnot, so we could have them on as guests. But the sour grapes are much less this year than they have in years past. So that's wonderful. And there's still tweaks that we're going to do to this whole voting process and things like that. So we continue to work hard to make sure all of that goes right. Please tune in to Tipping Point tomorrow night. It's a wonderful night, and it's some of the best times that we have as far as when people are accepting their awards and when they're talking. Everybody from referees to announcers to commentators to the wrestlers themselves, managers, bookers, promoters. Like, it's always wonderful to hear because you get to hear things in a different way. This isn't people in gimmick talking some nonsense. And the things that enter people's minds when they achieve something, especially with recognition from their peers, it's really encouraging, and it's really one of the better aspects of pro wrestling that you get to see. So I do encourage you to listen as we're doing it. Okay, it'll be 7 o'clock tomorrow, or listen to a replay, of course, at your own leisure. But it's really a great thing. A couple of other things I would like to see wrestlers and promoters and bookers stop doing is we covered this with the move thing, but there's been this sort of growing trend in the last few years of accusing people of stealing stuff. Stop that. Whether it's stealing gimmicks or angles or whatever, it's pro wrestling. Get over yourselves. And this weird thing that people have had, which we have not heard in about a year, which is wonderful. This idea of we did the groundbreaking for this, that, and the other, and then other people are taking advantage. Hopefully that all ends. We developed this guy, and now they're taking advantage of it. That's what wrestling is. And I haven't had to hear nonsense about people having wrestlers sign contracts at the independent level. Can we make sure we don't start that bullshit either? My wants for 2021 is that people continue to get gigs and continue to get AEW dark spots and continue to get looks by the WWE and continue to get into Ring of Honor and Impact. And realize the fight is to attain your goals, not against other wrestlers on Twitter. And not for likes on Facebook. That there's still a whole lot to go until we're back at 100%. And then the goal was never to be at 100% anyway, but to continue to grow. And I hope both of those things can happen in 2021. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet so I can put it out right away. Have a good night. I'll see you for the awards tomorrow, and you're going to be seeing me in videos much more than you can imagine. What do you want to say, Veronica?
I'm on camera now.
Wow. Yes, kid's a genius. Oh, put on that hat. You look smart in that hat. I like your style. All right. This is Stephen Platinum signing off. She danced us off. and this has been Full Disclosure.